Welcome. What's happening, guys? I'm Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Okay. Today, I'm talking about how to protect yourself against psychic attacks or the evil eye. Okay. So, the reason that this happens a lot is when we're on the path to spiritual ascension or awakening or whatever you want to call it, we start to shine brighter, we start to raise in our level of consciousness, we start to clear stuff up, right? And when that tends to happen, when we start to clear stuff up, we become empty. We truly become empty. We empty out the chalice, we empty out the vessel, right? And what tends to happen then is whatever energy is filled afterwards, you're empty, is going to be much more sticky to you in a sense. Okay, so if you are making yourself empty, then somebody could easily put toxic energy in your direction, or you could read something that you don't like hearing, or see something like the news and then start to really focus on the graphic imagery and feel bad about it. Then that's where your aura has little openings in a sense, right? The energy starts to leak out. Okay, so this is the way that I've understood it. I know this is a very woo-woo topic, so I'm going to try to demystify it and keep it as brief as I can and make you guys understand this, because it isn't easy to explain this kind of topic, right? In a video, you see a lot of mystical YouTubers try to explain this topic, but it gets kind of complicated in a sense. Well, let me just say that there's three kinds of psychic attacks that can happen. One is I'm reminded of like what my grandmother used to tell me, which is, be careful what you say about someone because you might curse them, right? And I think back to that time when she said that, and I was like, that's really true. When we curse someone, when we say something bad about someone, even unconsciously, it starts to affect them. It starts to affect their energetic field, and it almost brings that energy towards your direction, right? Now, the first kind of psychic attack is unconscious, meaning that they didn't mean for you to get hurt, okay? But they don't want you to get hurt in any manner, but their careless and impulsive behavior is what, or speech might send that hateful energy towards you without you being even aware of it, right? And the way that you can be aware of it is things are starting to go bad. You're starting to notice dense, heavy energy around you. You're starting to feel really sad and inwards and going like to that place, Um, Now, oftentimes this could be the result of our own minds. However, sometimes we can't really differentiate between these energies, right? It's very difficult to actually sit down and be very logical about this and categorize like, oh, this is hateful energy coming from an individual, or this is self-created, or, it's just, it is what it is. It's low vibrational energy. Okay. And the next one is frenemies, friends who may have your best interest in mind, but they don't really. Maybe they're family members, maybe they're haters, if you want to call them that. They're bad mouthing you or saying bad things about you behind your back, right? And this is a common one. This is a common one that a lot of people overlook. This is what people talk about, the evil eye, or the hateful eye, or the eye of jealousy or envy, right? And that sends that hateful energy towards you as well. And the third psychic attack is to an actual astral entity. Now, the way that I see this is every single thought that we have in our minds, right? From coming up with a Disney movie like Maleficent, or every single thought that we have in our mind, right? A fairy on a broomstick, let's say, random thought. If we keep thinking about that thought over and over and over again, we're going to bring it into reality somehow. Meaning, not this present reality, but into the metaphysical reality. Okay? So that's what the quantum is all of our thoughts just looping with each other and just going and going and going. And so in the quantum space, in the astral realms, there are thought forms, meaning they were a thought to begin with, but then we thought about it so much, it actually formed the thought and it became something. right? It became an entity. It became something that is manifested in our minds and thoughts enough times. So if we thought about it, it became a thought form. So now you have channelers who can tap into the energy of like Al Pacino or something, right? Because they're tapping into that thought form. They're tapping into that energy, right? They're not necessarily contacting Danny DeVito from the dead or whatever. They are, I don't know if he's still alive. Maybe he's still alive. I don't know. But I'm just giving you an example, right? But they're not actually focusing on the physical essence of that person. They're focusing on the metaphysical essence, right? So this is what I mean by if you label something, you make it real. So this is the way that I choose to understand it. And a lot of channelers, I primarily don't care if channeling is legit or it's not. What I'm interested in is the message. Is it a powerful message? Is it an empowering message? Is it helping people, right? So no matter where that message comes from, right, that's besides the point, okay? Now, the problem happens when it starts to become a message that deceive people, right, and or false light. And you can actually ask spirits that you work with or energy that is hateful towards you, and you can ask it, are you here to serve me, and do you work for unconditional love and light, right? And that way you can actually get an answer from them when you actually do this kind of work with, if you're going very esoteric with it. So yeah, the third one are these entities, spirits, forces in the world. They're playing games. They're just testing out their powers, right? They're testing out their powers in the physical realm from the metaphysical realm. And we don't know enough about it to actually pinpoint them and start to understand them, right? There's some modern day sorcerers or channelers who try to do this. But even the legitimacy, the more we get into a left brain, it's very difficult to pinpoint that and actually give it, right, some kind of tangible thing we can do with it. So I want this video to be really tangible and how you can actually protect yourself from this kind of hateful, low vibrational energy, and what happens when it seeps into your reality, your aura, and your experience, okay? So basically, how do I define healing? Healing is basically changing a pattern, changing an old pattern to a new pattern, changing an unwanted pattern to a wanted pattern, changing low vibration into higher vibration, in a sense, if you want to say it in that way. So you really want to become an alchemist with this. When you are getting low vibration energy from somebody, it's your interpretation of that energy that is going to drop you down in your level of consciousness. It's either going to make you feel worse or it's going to make you feel better, acknowledging it and observing it from a space where you're neutral about it, okay? So oftentimes when people talk about their different things, we're taking it too personally. We're absorbing that information as if it's our own information. Especially empaths do this, right? It's not your information. It's not your information to deal with. But you can still help them and you can still be intrigued by them. All right. So that's one thing that I would say. And you'll notice that a lot of healers, they use their hands, right? The hands are actually incredibly healing. Okay. Even if you rub your hands together, you'll notice a charge between them. Okay. It was the energy flowing between them, right? So healers use their hands a lot. Notice this and try this out actually. Try combing the energy around you in your environment, around your aura, around people. It might seem weird, like what is that woman or man doing, right? I've seen many weirdos around Los Angeles doing that. They're just like, etheric realms, like not even tapped into the 3D physical realm, right? They're somewhere else and they're not coming back to this realm. But anyway, combing the space around you, you're going to notice if there's dense energy around, right? And you'll notice that the fact that you can use your hands in many ways to actually change the energy around. Now, the energy of celebration actually breaks up negative patterns. Okay, it breaks up negative patterns. Now, it's different to where the energy is coming from. So let's say you guys have a party, right? But then there's alcohol, and it's called spirit for a reason, right? So you guys are drinking alcohol and you're partying, right? And that's completely fine. But you might be you're showing this kind of, persona fatigue. You're showing that you're having fun, but you're not really having fun. Okay, that's dangerous, right? That's not a high vibrational energy of celebration. You're actually pretending, and pretense and lack of authenticity, actually the opposite of that high vibrational energy, right? That inauthenticity actually is very low vibrational. Okay, so when you're celebrating, make sure you're actually celebrating. Okay, which is why clapping your hands is an incredible way to disrupt these spirits anywhere around it, right? Because they associate clapping with celebration. We clap to people who are on the stage, right? We start to clap. Hold on 1 second. Where is my phone? I always have these phone calls, you know what I mean? Alarms, phone calls going off. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, clapping, right? So just clapping in your environment can disrupt the patterns and change the patterns up. I actually learned this from Ivan as well. Very powerful technique that I've tried before. And breaking and changing the pattern of your environment, changing things up, opening the window so the energy flows through, right? All this kind of stuff is really helpful, right? So being able to play positive music in your environment, being able to let light into your environment, okay? The more hidden something is, the more low vibrational it is. We're only as sick as our secrets. The more hidden it is, the more dark it is, the more trapped it is, the more low vibration. So the more free it is, the more expansive it is, the more abundant it is, the more high vibrational. So understand that. When you're feeling like holding something in, harboring it, hoarding furniture, it's starting to stagnate the energy. Okay? Like stale water that goes stale over time, right? You need that water to flow. So this is what I'm saying, okay? A lot of healers and spiritual individuals, indigo children who are on this channel too. I love you guys. You guys use love and light a lot, and there's a reason for this, because love and light, those two words, those energies of love, light, joy, abundance, all these positive words, right? Gratitude. All of this is actually protective against evil, against low vibration, against psychic attacks. Okay, if you can keep yourself at a high vibration and you can be in the love even when you feel unloved, when you can be in the love and love others even when they're unlovable, when you can be in the love and be present with it, even if you have to confront someone. Like, I'll give you an example. You want to confront somebody, but you want to confront them from love. So it becomes a carefrontation, not a confrontation. You want to get angry at someone and yell at them, but you're still yelling at them from a loving place. Does this make sense? Okay, give me a thumbs up if this makes sense. So you want to come from that love energy, but at the same time, you're not taking away your expression in any way. It's still coming from the baseline of love, because that love is actually very protective. And when we take it away, we notice the detriment of that. This is why children who grow up with a lack of affection or love, there's a certain syndrome where the babies become smaller. They actually shrink up because they don't get that physical affection and that love during the phase of being in the embryo, right? Being in the womb, in that childhood phase, okay? I think I just lost the screen here. Okay, I can see you guys again. Anyway, there's a banishing exercise that I teach to people in my Flow Zone Academy and in a lot of my programs. And I can let you guys know that, but that's very, in general, that's pretty private, because I learned it from a mentor of mine, and I don't know if he'd appreciate it in the case of me just sharing it, because it's very esoteric and sacred knowledge. You know what I mean? It's not for everybody to use, I think. And I don't think this information should be freely available to everybody, because they're going to use it for either good or evil. They might know this information and also use it for bad. So I just want to clarify that if you're on this channel, make sure that you're always using the information that I give you from love and light, right? For a good reason. Don't break the laws of the land, be a responsible adult and all these things, okay? So one way to protect yourself in imagining your favorite color from within your heart. creating a bubble around you, okay? A bubble of energy, a white bubbling light, okay? That's just protective around you. And it's almost like a cocoon of white light and positivity, okay, that you create around yourself. And you can actually bring this up at any time by giving yourself an anchor, okay, like tapping both sides of your head, clapping your hands, putting one hand on your heart with your fist. It can become an anchor. Like in NLP, we have anchors. You can create a protective anchor for yourself in regards to protecting yourself. Other ways to protect myself, this is what has worked for me. So I'm only going to give you stuff that has worked for me in a sense, and not just all random stuff that I've heard, right? And of course, I have heard some stuff and used them, and then I've clarified to the point that, okay, I'm going to give you this information. One is salt baths, okay? Sea salt, Himalayan pink salt, even regular table salt. You know, why do they use salt in rituals so much, right? In magical rituals, and in terms of like, oh, if you spill the salt, it's bad luck, right? Why is there such a thing associated with salt? Okay. Now, I don't know the answer here, but this is just my guess, is that it's used to dry things up. It's used to dry up, right? And salt is very protective because, you know, it holds the energy of the negative energy. It's like an absorber. It's like a sponge in a sense, okay? The salt is actually like a sponge towards the negative energy. So what I do is I have a sea salt, like a dead sea salt scrub. It's like a soap. And I just bathe with that every day. And that helps me keep my aura shining, aura glistening, okay? It keeps me protected. It keeps me well preserved, right? Epsom salt baths, all this kind of stuff is really protective. And try it out for yourself before you really start to judge it or speak about it, okay? The next thing is you see a lot of people burning sage, okay? Burning sage is actually very beneficial. Incense, crystals, tiger's eye is great to banish evil eye. Getting an evil eye pendant as well is great. Um, the evil eye is a representative, again, of an individual who has hateful or envious thoughts of you, right? So when you understand that there's always the grass is greener on the other side because envy made it greener. Okay, remember this quote from me, because the person who has a really nice car might be failing to make payments for it, right? The person who has a really beautiful partner that you're jealous of, you know, they might just be going through an argument. They're on the brink of divorce or a breakup right now. You don't know that. You're just basing it off of your storyline in the moment, right? So understand that, and that oftentimes is a protective energy that can get you to actually raise in your frequency level when you understand that, hey, I'm really connected with the earth, I'm really connected with nature, I'm really connected to my own heart and what I enjoy doing. All right. I'm really like making myself smile and laugh and keeping myself positive and light and letting go of the baggage that I'm carrying with me. I'm not teleporting myself to the past and holding grudges and getting myself to stay there, because the moment you do that, you're letting in energy leaks into your aura, right? Because the way that we formulate it in the mind is connected to our body, which is connected to our spirit. Okay, so we want to empty our mind and clean. Basically, we want to clean our mind and clean our hearts, so there's no impurity, there's no kind of, you know, gunk there, right? Metaphysical gunk there. This is what my program Flomo Sapien is really helping you to do. So if you are interested in getting unstuck in 12 weeks from now, you know, shoot me a message, because this program, I've designed it in such a way where we remove all of the past trauma, the emotional gunk, you know, the things that are holding you back from your higher self, from your potential. And this is a process that I've gone through myself and adapted it according to my own flow state methodologies, right? So yeah, how do we protect ourselves from psychic attacks? Keep yourself in a high vibration. That's the best answer and the easiest answer that I can give you. is keep yourself smiling, keep yourself happy, keep yourself around a good group of people that uplift you, right? Like, just make yourself the person that you've always preferred to be, and stop compensating, stop compromising, stop putting yourself smaller, stop making yourself weaker through all these different things, right? It's really important to recognize this if you have it in your job, or if you have it in your relationship currently, right? If you're going through something very difficult. Let's say you're going through a job right now, and that's a job you hate, and there's manipulation going around in that job. Okay, let's say that the staff members are doing illegal things behind your back. Maybe you notice that, okay, there's a lot of toxic or burnout energy in that workplace. You got to get out of there. Okay, get out right now before that company becomes bankrupt or shuts down, or they get into a scandal or something happens. This is what low vibration energy does, guys. Okay, if they don't stop there, it's gonna make it stop by itself. If we dwell in that low vibration, it's just more low vibration, right? Low vibration energy feeds more low vibration energy, and high vibration energy feeds more high vibration energy. It's like a loop, right? So what if we're split? What if you have low vibration energy, and under and over that we have high vibration? Well, the high vibration is going to win ultimately over it, but we have to learn how to maintain that. That's the thing. We maintain high vibration for a while, but then we get impacted by others. We become gullible. We start to drop in our power. We don't hold our boundaries anymore as people. And that's when we take the energy away and we drop down. You could say we drop down at their level, right? We drop down to other people's level. We don't maintain that boundary and that high vibration and that frequency. So the real key here is to protect yourself from psychic attacks, spiritual attacks, any of this stuff, is to stay in love and light, stay in high vibrational energy and frequency. And watch out when this is happening subconsciously, unconsciously in your relationship. Let's say your partner is having very dark thoughts in their mind, right? And they're not telling you. And guess what? You're getting that. You're feeling that still, right? There's something off. This is why clean communication lines are so important. This is why being fully transparent and open is important. At the same time, keeping the mystery alive so it doesn't spark away any chemistry, right? That's a different topic, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is mainly how to protect yourself. Is, there's many binaural beats out there, many sound frequencies that can also protect you. Look many of those up. Uplift yourself and the people around you is a great one by Sapien Medicine. I highly recommend that one. I can link it in the description below as well. And yeah, many other ones as well that I've found that really help me to protect my energetic bubble in a sense. And you don't want to keep yourself in that bubble. Of course, ignorance is not the answer, right? So you're not just going against and not watching any news and not being caught up in anything and living in your own little bubble and hibernating in a cave somewhere, right? You're not doing that. You're learning to be in society and go throughout life at the same time being and living in the metaphysical and the physical realm. And you're using your powers to actually help others. I think that's one of the things that people miss out on, is they go through a spiritual awakening, but then they don't do anything with that energy. They don't help others with that, right? And then what you're coming from is, again, that selfless energy becomes a selfish energy. And, of course, we must look after ourselves ultimately to take care of others as well. So it's kind of a paradox in that way. But understand that, yeah, we have to first deal with the internal world when we are going to go into the external. So you already know this, guys. I'm just clarifying it to you. This is very, very potent stuff. And if you are able to apply the things that I taught you in this video and keep yourself feeling good, uplifted, do the visualization of the protective bubble around you, really helpful at times where you feel very stressed out or not functioning. Another great one is putting one hand on your heart and one hand on your head. This deals with the logic. This deals with the emotions and the feelings, the thoughts and the feelings together, which is the secret to manifestation, right? And just tap those two areas. This is also a stress relief point in Chinese meridian science, okay? And I'm sure there's one near here. There's one over here as well, and one right underneath your pectoral. But anyway, hope this video helped you out today. I know it's very long. These live streams, sometimes they go on for a bit. Hopefully they helped you out. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message on here or on Instagram at Flowzone Academy, and I'll get back to you. Have an amazing, incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary.